Cleveland Clinic, Florida provides individualized treatment plans for excellent outcomes of health problems ranging from the most common to the most complex, even in cases considered untreatable by others. Cleveland Clinic, Florida. Every life deserves world-class care.
Podcast, precious.
We don't care, we're about to swear on the air. It's the after the show, so tune in if you dare. KVJ, get risque every single day. It's uncensored. We can say what we want to say.
All right, here we go. Happy Tuesday. Welcome to the KVJ After the Show podcast. Hopefully everybody had a fantastic weekend. Martin Luther King Jr. weekend went down. Lots of great festivities for a great American. A little colder weather, too.
Oh, yeah. We were freezing our balls off at the fair.
Mm-hmm.
It was nice to be, switching it up, though. I did like the cooler weather.
I like cooler weather. I don't like bone-chilling cold where it's not even enjoyable to go outside and you have to dress like a roly-poly.
Yeah.
I like to be able to cover up the fupa, the belly, get my T-necks out.
Okay.
And then be comfortable.
Well, Danielle was saying Virginia was anything but roly-poly. She said, I want to give her a heads up about how great she looks. I was at the fair on Saturday with my husband and our two kids. When my husband spotted Virginia, Panda, and baby Rocco. Yeah, I've been listening since middle school, and I'm now 36. I was too nervous and shy to say hi, and my vodka and my lemonade hadn't quite kicked in yet.
Aww.
So I'm kicking myself for not saying hi, but I just couldn't get over how skinny and great Virginia looked. I know she'll love this comment. Hey, girl, hey.
Well, girl, thank you, because, yes, I do love that comment. I had on some Spanx.
Okay.
Pleather leggings. And so they kind of like suck everything and make you look as tiny as possible. And, yeah.
Do they really get constrictive if you start pigging out?
Yes, and that's how you can't.
Okay.
You can't pig out.
You'd be miserable if you ate too much and you were in Spanx.
Yes.
You feel terrible.
You got to taper.
Got to get the Manx. The Manx. I heard
they do stuff for men like that.
I heard that it really helps. They talk about men wearing girdles. Elvis wore a girdle and how it gives you confidence until you look in the mirror and go, I'm wearing a fucking girdle. Then the confidence kind of goes out the window.
I think they call it like a support shirt for men. They don't call it like girdle.
Yeah, but let's not make no mistake about it. It's a girdle.
It's a shirt girdle.
Yeah.
It's a shirtle.
You can do them and kind of take your man boobs and it sculpts them and makes it look like you have pecs, which you don't. It's a complete lie.
How you doing on your push-ups?
Doing a little bit more, but I didn't do any over the weekend, so I got to get back on track here this week. But last week I wasn't getting all the way to 100, but I got 61 day, 81 day.
Okay.
So I was at least getting close. So I need to refocus here today. So I think I'll be able to. My son's going to start working out, I think, really for the first time. So he's going to be doing training stuff. So while I'm in there, hopefully I'll start getting back into it.
I can tell that shirt you're wearing making your arms look a bit swole.
I got a long way to go, but
all right, well,
yeah, I appreciate it though.
Okay,
yeah, because somebody's gonna look and be like, his arms look like fucking toothpicks.
You're right. That is so funny.
That's why I don't. Yeah.
Even when Kevin was meaty Kev, hot dog neck Kevin would go, man, would always talk about how big you were.
Yeah.
And these meatheads, Kevin's not big.
I saw Kevin out. Kevin's not big.
Jay-Bird, look, this is big, and then they'd flex for me. I'm like, all right, dude. All right,
I always have to taper your enthusiasm to put it in perspective. Then I got to deal with all these comments.
Like, you went roided, Ricky. Leave me alone now.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So let me see other stuff other than the South Florida Fair. Miami Dolphins game this weekend didn't go the way the Dolphins wanted, but it was a valiant effort and a loss and gives hopes for maybe improvement next year. We hope.
They got a lot of, real excuses of why they didn't win. They're third string. They had hurt players.
Their running back was out.
Yeah,
there's a lot of stuff. Their best offensive lineman has about 10 things wrong with him. So I know a lot of people do this time of year, but they had some legit. I mean, the Bills had their starting quarterback in. They weren't on a third string.
It really, when you talk about it like that, it kind of isn't a fair fight, If Tua would have been there.
Mm-hmm, sure. Yeah, some people are saying that it would have likely been a Dolphins win if Tua would have been there.
That's why postseason of any sorts is crazy in any sport. Anything can happen.
You're right.
If your best person sometimes your top two people break down, and if it's a position like a pitcher in baseball, you're pretty fucked, man.
No, it changes the game. That's the hard thing. Why you just never know. You know, I mean, Ohio State was beating Georgia by 14 in the fourth quarter, and they hit their best player in the head and knocked him out, gave him a concussion. And after that, Ohio State scored 3 points, and Georgia wins by 1. So it changes the game.
Is it true every time you get knocked out, you piss your pants? Or is that a rumor?
That's got to be a rumor because this guy he looked like he was on the turf out cold, and he got up, and there was no pee-pee in the panties.
But you may not know if he could have. I always heard if you pass out, you always piss your pants.
I don't think that's true.
Okay. You're gonna get an email from somebody.
Yeah, I don't think I've even ever heard that. Have you heard that? Every time you pass out, you piss your pants?
I've only heard you say it, Jay Bird.
Someone's got to have my back on this. I cannot be the only one that's heard that before. That most of the time, if you pass out, you are waking up with piss your pants.
Huh.
I swear this is not just a birdism. This is...
I've never passed out.
Never?
But I have pissed myself.
Wow. That's not...
Yeah, I know one, not the other.
Over under 10 times in your life. We're not talking little kid, we're talking the age of 10 and above. How many times have you pissed yourself?
Oh, over.
Oh,
definitely.
God.
And now after I've had 2 kids, sometimes like a joke that hits will get me. When you do physical comedy, I have to go relieve my bladder beforehand because sometimes you'll fall the right way and I'll giggle and I'll piss myself.
Do you pee your pants uncontrollably like that ever?
No, I think women have a lot bigger issue with spritzing.
It's a thing.
Yeah. It's a girl thing more than it is a guy thing.
Most women spritz, you think, a lot.
No, I don't think most women, but I think if I have a full bladder and you make me giggle,
oh, man.
I'm going to spritz.
That's okay. First of all, that's such a disgusting term. Spritz is awful.
Kevin said it first, so that's why I said it.
It always reminds me of that Whoopi Goldberg commercial.
Yes, she did. There's a medicine that
she started, yeah.
ladies can take that I think strengthens up your urethra or whatever it is down there that gets loose.
Your Aretha Franklin?
I guess it makes it tighter.
I lost a punishment, and my punishment was I had to watch the Whoopi Goldberg commercial where she talks about spritzing, and I had to eat something.
Runny eggs.
Oh my gosh, that's awful.
Kevin made you eat runny eggs.
Yeah, runny eggs in a porta potty, I think.
I think it was. That was something.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, listen to her talk about pissing her pants.
Spritzing. That's why that word sticks up. Sometimes you spritz. That was a shitty punishment, man.
Kevin, get your head.
Today was a bad punishment. I don't care what anybody says. That was a terrible punishment.
Yeah, that was rough. I haven't felt right since I drank that. That stuff was gnarly, man.
It looked disgusting.
It not only tasted bad, but then, I got a little bit of a headache, and I was like nauseous, and
I didn't feel good after that.
No, I didn't feel good either.
I really didn't. I did a phantom throw up in the other room and scared the hell out of Suits and Denny's.
Yeah,
nothing came up.
If you're gonna Ralph near Suits.
Yeah, he'll lose it too. Yeah, we had Miles in here from Aquaman Water Treatment Systems, and I got a water treatment system because it was gunking up my water heater, and my eczema is getting really bad, especially in the winter. So somebody said, that's a lot more affordable than you think. So we got that thing done, and it changed the whole water. And so he did this thing where he showed me what's in your water, and it magnetizes all the metals, and it'll come stick to this rod that's in there, so it pulls out all the gunk.
Oh, my gosh.
It's crazy what crap is floating around your water that you can't see.
I'm showing it right now on KVJ TV if you missed it today. You can really see what the hell it looked like. I mean, look how gnarly that is.
Yeah.
Can't imagine why we don't feel well.
Yeah.
Everyone keeps on saying, well, you drink that anyway. Yeah, but you don't drink it so concentrated.
It was,
like
and
that.
I think that's what it was a concentration. Because when you drank it, it came right off the top, and I just got nothing but it was a slimy slug that went down the pie hole, and I was like, yeah, it's gross, man.
It was rough.
Yeah, it was pretty gnarly. It was in the do it bitch punishment from earlier.
Next level.
I was so bummed out. I blew that one topic. Songs with a woman's name in the title.
Do you want to reboot?
I mean, of anybody on this show, I figured you were going to dust that one.
You know what happened? I had a whole system going on, and then I started getting cute and doing
pistol fingers.
Cowbird over here. I started playing around with Virginia going, yeah, I'm going to get you. All right.
Pew, 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 pew.
And then you called me. If I would have just done Billy Joel's catalog, that would have got me 3.
You want to make good? 10 seconds.
Okay. Oh, fuck. All right.
Songs with a woman's name in the title.
How much do I get? I think 6 I had to get.
I think it was 6.
Yeah.
And you got 4, I think.
Damn.
Okay. Ready? Your time begins now.
Michelle, hold on. I can't. I'm not ready, dog. I can't.
Wow, okay.
Damn.
The
You
redemption
whiffed twice.
did not go very well. Oh, man.
I'm getting worse.
Wow. Michelle. Done.
I forgot my strategy. It's too much, Kevin. It's
Okay,
it's
yeah,
the
all right.
podcast, man. Relaxing time.
It's so hard. You think that'd be
I got it.
be crushing.
I got it now.
You just made me spritz. You're goofy.
All right, I got it.
Okay, go.
Delilah, Amber, Christy Lee, Michelle, Amy, Monica.
Okay.
How many I get?
I don't
5,
know.
I think.
5. Christy Lee is a
Okay,
song.
all right.
Monica's a song. Amber's a song.
Okay.
Delilah.
That's
Hey there,
4.
it's Hey There, Delilah.
No, there's another.
Oh, there is.
Delilah.
I thought it was Elvira.
It is Elvira.
I think I'm getting my.
Giddy up, mow,
Maybe that's just
mow.
on your category.
Mandy, you dick. Mandy.
Sarah, Rosanna,
Yes.
Stacy's mom,
Joanna.
Billie Jean.
Yes.
Yeah, there's like I said, there's about 150 options.
Damn.
Isn't that crazy when you put that timer on, just the blankness that happens?
It got you.
Sometimes when there are so many options, it does like clank you.
You could have over option overload.
Just too much.
Too much. It's kind of like Cheesecake Factory's menu.
Okay.
I love
Overwhelming.
Cheesecake Factory, but you do get in that kind of mode of going, fuck, page 27.
An 87-page book.
It is. It's a lot. I think there's a science behind that. Not to have too many options.
Okay. Got an email from Sean, and he uses Do It Bitch as a class activity. He's a college professor, and he teaches advertising and communication courses.
Oh, I love this. Look at us in college.
Yeah, and before their graded presentations, he kind of warms them up and plays a fun little game. And so, he calls... the tricky part is that I couldn't really bring a game called Do It Bitch to class, so I took off the bitch part, called the game Do It. They got really into it, and it's funny watching them try to gamble and guess, and one of the answers someone gave for pizza toppings was salt, and the whole class lost it. His nickname was Salt for the rest of the class.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Wow, look at us,
They love the game.
inspiring young minds.
Yeah, so there you go.
It's a very proud moment, I think.
It's very good.
Yeah, so there you go. On there having fun. He said, thanks again for what you do and being such an educational show from one scholar to another.
Damn.
Look at that respect, huh?
Street cred.
Yeah.
How many woman names could you do for that category if you got 10 seconds?
I think I'd be okay at 7.
7?
I think 7 would be about right. I mean, I know we named a lot of them, so people are like, Ricky, resettle, and that's what I'll do. And
Is that the tone?
maybe I need to come back tomorrow and try.
Is that how people talk
Yeah,
when you read that?
I'm not impressed. We just named all those.
And by the way, you're not big either, bitch.
Yeah. I'd say I'd probably be about my mark because it is tough, and there are some of these that you get right on it because you want to go with Amy, Beth, Sarah. That you can spit out really fast.
Quick.
Because some of them, come on, Eileen. There's 3 words instead of just 1.
You're right, and you had a category in there. I think federal holidays.
Yeah.
That was easy because you could just go through each month and pick out the holiday.
See, I thought that one was pretty tough, and you did really well on that. You
I think you're
nailed
right.
that. Like if you would have said which one are you going to do well on, I'm like, he's going to crush it on the songs, and he's going to fall apart when it comes to the calendar. And it was the exact opposite.
It's so odd. I know so many songs with a woman's name in there, and even as I sit here, I'm struggling trying to remember them.
You're a weird bird.
Quack quack.
Very fascinating.
Too close to it.
Maybe.
What is the song Virginia? There's several with your name in
Come
it.
out, Virginia. Don't make me
But that's not in the title, though. But Meet Virginia by Train.
Yeah,
Meet
Meet
Virginia. Yeah.
Shit, yeah, Meet Virginia.
There's another one, too, about leave Virginia alone, which I wish more people would do.
That's a weird song.
It's by Rod Stewart, I think.
Okay. Yeah, there's several. There's one I played for you not too long ago. There's The Head and the Heart did a song called Virginia, Wind in the Night. It's a really good song, actually. Virginia don't like she used to. You got to go check it out. The Head and the Heart. You should look at that. It's your namesake song, Virginia. You should be familiar with it.
I love it.
The Ghost of Virginia. That's a song that's out there.
Got an email from Virginia, and she said, I was listening to you guys talking about Virginia, meeting another Virginia that was like her. Well, tell Virginia that I, too, am a Virginia with many similarities.
I love it.
Birth date, July 15th, 1973.
Well, that's right by me.
Dark hair, light skin, big boobs. Have an 8-year-old little boy. I think champagne qualifies as a breakfast beverage.
Raspy voice, hates men.
This girl's my spirit animal.
Yeah, said back in the day, probably could have kept up with the partying. But
Yeah.
now probably could only hold her purse now.
It takes a toll on your soul.
Oh, here's the part where Virginia's like, I'm going to slow down, Kev, until fucking Mardi Gras,
Yeah.
where she rages as if she's rushing for a fraternity.
Did you rage this weekend, Virginia?
I wasn't gonna.
Okay.
And then Panda actually started drinking, and it made me drink. Because when the Bills were down,
Yeah.
we do crown when you're down. And so the Dolphins took the lead, I think, in the third quarter. And Panda poured himself the most mammoth shot I've ever seen anybody take. And I can't let my baby drink alone.
Did y'all have drunk sex?
We did not. We had Rocco, and so he's
And after a Bills win?
kind of a cock block.
Rocco. Man, those damn kids, right?
When we do get, like, Rocco went to go play with his friend the other day, and we had a window of opportunity, and so we did. So those happen. But, Rocco can't go play with his friend at, 9, 10 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
So it's limited.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's the only day you kind of knocked it up.
That kid ever nap?
No, he does not nap.
He does not seem like a kid that ever. I can see him not wanting to go to bed.
He would never have the patience for a nap. He's too busy doing stuff, rewiring the house. I don't know what he does, but he's got a whole command center set up in his bedroom now. He added another television. Now he's got 4 TVs.
Do you have fun when Panda drinks?
Yeah. Yeah, he
I
gets
bet.
a little loose.
I'm sure it's fun.
He gets a little loose, but, at the naughty potty, Panda started drinking. He doesn't have a governor. And so he doesn't realize that he can't go hard because he doesn't go. Mm-hmm. So he went too hard at the naughty party and was puking out on the golf course behind our house. And then we had to put Panda to bed at like 11 o'clock.
Oh, okay.
At the naughty party. That was early.
I mean, I think everybody gonna get a lot of hand at that thing.
The naughty party definitely put some hair on your nipples.
You have to make it to the next one, Kev. Plan on it for next year.
Okay. Next year's naughty potty.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know if the queen would like it. And there's too many people she doesn't know.
Yeah.
She don't get down like that.
And she anymore, she doesn't really want to be around that level of crazy anymore. I even notice like when Caitlin and her friends are around and you'll see Cheyenne starts kicking it up a notch. She's like, let's get out of here. She's like, is this getting it's going to get a little squirrely.
Well, that's next level
It
kick up.
is.
I
It
can't
is.
handle Cheyenne.
I couldn't handle
Yeah.
that.
I've seen the videos. I mean, this girl is
Yeah.
epically raging.
Well, I think for the queen, a big part of it for her too is she's really trying to she drinks and drinks a good bit, but she's trying not to get out of control or tipsy or noticeably inebriated. So, especially Cannon, he notices.
Oh,
And
I'm sure.
And he takes notes and talks about it and all that kind of stuff. And she hates when she gets to that level. So she knows that she's still got the devil in her. So whenever she sees it going on, it's either I got to get out or I'm going to join in. And she doesn't want to go. That it's too tempting for her because she's still got that crazy. And if she just let it go, oh yeah, she would tear loose. But
Interesting.
But then she doesn't want the judgment, the judgy eyes, and she feels like bad mom and all that stuff. So I get it. I'm like, I need to probably go too because I'm the same way. I'll freaking turn into David Lee Roth in 1984.
Some of us should feel like bad mom, but we don't.
Yeah, it really twinges her conscience.
You're going to get judged regardless.
No doubt.
That's true.
If you're going to give me the judgment, might as well give me the drink too.
This Virginia, she said, I actually have a funny story. Begin anew, getting her and I mixed up after I'd been there. I've been dying to come to an event to tell her the story. Hopefully I'll be able to get one of your upcoming events to meet her and all of you guys.
Well, that's too funny. They thought you were me?
Yeah. Like, oh, I love you on the radio. She's like, I'm not on the radio.
That happens to me sometimes where people think I'm Kevin and you don't want to correct them.
Well, I'll be out places with my husband, who's also named Kevin, and he introduces himself as Kevin. I don't. I introduce him as Panda because I don't want the weirdness. People meet him, and then they see us kiss, and they're like, oh, my gosh, Virginia just kissed Kevin.
Oh, my gosh, yeah.
He has to be Panda, but when he tells people his name is Kevin, I'm like, oh.
I can see how that would
And
breed
then the
some
rumors
confusion.
go around.
Right.
Oh, my
People are
gosh,
like,
did you know?
She grabbed his ass.
Yeah. Oh, my gosh, I can't believe that.
I knew it.
It's crazy, right? So that was some of the stuff going on over the weekend. Other than all that, I found a show that I really got into. It was on Travel Channel. It's called Beyond the Unknown.
Ooh.
And it's good because it's about 5 quick little stories. And it's stuff that you would hear on Jaybirds Weird and Whatever. It's anything from alien stuff to just odd things. Some of it's interesting things in history. Or like there was one story about this guy who he was an antique dealer, especially in musical instruments, and somebody comes in and says, hey, this has been passed down to my family. I think it might be worth something, and it's a violin, and it has an inscription on it. And long story short, the guy finds out that this is one of the violins from the Titanic.
No
The band
way.
director of the Titanic was engaged and had been given this violin from his fiance before he went on the Titanic because that was a big break for him. Like his life was made. He was coming back to get married. Everything was going to be awesome. He's the one that had the band out there on the deck playing until the ship went down.
I mean,
And
talk
then
about a man that was true to the music.
as soon as the water started to come up over him, he strapped and tied the violin to his chest. And when they pulled his body out of the water, the violin was still on his chest, and they returned it to his fiancée.
Wow.
Who never married ever in her life, and then passed the violin down from generation to generation. And this one, guy now, of course, hard up for money, is like, hey, I don't know, it's just in the family. And the guy who knew the musical instruments, he could tell it was legit, looked at the inscription, and she had inscripted it to him from her. And they're like, oh my gosh, that's the band director of the Titanic. And now it's in a museum, a Titanic museum.
You know what's awesome about that too? He loved being a musician. He loved it that much.
Yeah.
I love that's a great story.
Yeah, so that's what it is. It's Beyond the Unknown, and it's just all these tiny little stories that take maybe 10 minutes tops to tell, and there's about 5 of them per episode. And I was learning so much stuff that I'm like, oh my gosh, I never heard that. Like, there's a story out of Key West. You know the East Mortello Museum? That's where they have Robert the Doll.
Yes.
Apparently, there's a whole bunch of other oddities that they have there, and it's the old fort, which is what they have there in Key West. And have you ever heard the story of Count Karl von Kassel?
No.
I had never heard this story either, but it's one that you would think you would know, being in South Florida as long as we have. This guy, he really was a nut job. He called himself Count Karl von Kassel, but he wasn't a real count. His actual name was Karl Tanzler, and he came from Germany, where he lived with his wife and 2 daughters, but apparently he just left them and is now living it up in Key West.
He recreated a whole identity where he was a count.
He said he was a count. He said he had 9 university degrees. He was a submarine captain and electrical inventor.
And back
It is
then,
kind of cool to move and then reinvent yourself.
well, then back then, were they going to Google you?
Right.
I mean, you
Yeah.
could say shit like that.
So he's living in this fantasy world, playing off like he's this, esteemed count. And while working at the Marine Hospital, he meets this 22-year-old Elena Hoyos. Now, the count himself, he's an old dude. He looks like he's 60s at least.
But he's a count, so he could probably pull a young tail.
So this girl apparently is known for her beauty, this young Cuban girl. And so he gets fixated on her, but she shows up at this hospital because she gets tuberculosis, which, man, that was just running rampant this time. And she was always pushing him off, but he falls madly in love with this Elena. And he convinced her parents that he could cure her with his special machines combined with these daily doses of tonics that he has. So, of course, the count can't do shit, and she winds up dying of tuberculosis.
Damn.
This is where the story gets really weird.
He kept her body and did weird things to it.
She was first buried in a common grave, but the count said, oh, no. I have a fancy above-ground mausoleum that I've designed for her. So her family, not having money, said, okay. So what he would do is he would go over and he would see her body all the time. Like every night he was there by candlelight.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. And so what happened, he believed that she could communicate with him through voice and song, and he claimed that Elena had begun to sing in her casket with a very soft, clear voice. It was always the same old Spanish song about a lover who opens the grave of his dead bride. So you see a theme here?
Oh, I do.
So he's there every night giving gifts and flowers, and then after 2 years, the Count removes her remains from her tomb and takes them to a makeshift laboratory he had built inside the wingless fuselage of an old airplane that was behind the Marine Hospital where he lived. And then he started to work on her corpse. He was wiring it together using wax, plaster of Paris, and glass eyes, thinking he could bring her back to life.
I mean, what the hell?
He puts her in a wedding dress, and he starts to sleep with her like she's his wife.
Oh, my gosh.
And then to keep her body preserved, he uses all these various oils, chemicals, and perfume to mask the odor of the decomposition. And he continues working on her daily, trying to restore her facial features using mortician's wax. Well, of course, all these rumors start going around Key West about, hey, you know, I think this weird old Count dude who lives in a plane behind the hospital has got a dead body in there. And Elena's sister, Nana, kind of hears this, and she goes and confronts the Count, and he tells her the truth about how he has her sister's corpse and even shows it to her.
Oh, my gosh.
She calls the cops. He gets arrested and is charged with grave robbing and abusing a corpse and was convicted of grave robbery. But by the time the case went to trial, the statute of limitations expired, so he gets no sentence. So they put her corpse back on display, I guess, out of respect at a local funeral home, which that seems weird as hell to me. Yes.
Let her rest.
Yes, so people can now come see her again.
What the hell?
What the shit, man?
So then her parents, not trusting the Count, they put her in a metal box and bury it in a secret location. But the Count didn't know that. He thought they put her back in the mausoleum, so he blows up her mausoleum with explosives. And the cracked nameplate from that mausoleum is still on display at the East Mortello Museum in Key West. You can see it all shattered and cracked, and they put it back together. It's an unreal story, isn't it? And I'm like, I've never heard that.
Count be creepy.
The Count was so meticulous with so many details, but really shitty with other stuff. It's weird.
Yeah, absolutely.
Why would you show the sister the body or the decomposing body?
And how do you blow it up? And I don't know, man. You don't know the body's not in there, and you are so... the Count's got some issues, and he's inconsistent.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. And no, it's not recent. I mean, this happened like turn of the century, so I think it was like 1920 or something around that, you know, where tuberculosis. And that's the one thing that I got from this show was that, man, tuberculosis is taking a lot of bitches out.
It was. That's, I think, how Doc Holliday died.
Yeah, it might have been. And in fact, I remember that old mental hospital I used to work at Ohio University? They had a tuberculosis hospital that was up the hill a little bit further. And if you got tuberculosis, they put you there because if it spread through the hospital, like everybody would be dying.
So clearly they came up with a vaccination for that, right?
Yeah, they wound up, being able to cure it.
Does the TBS ever come back now?
I think it's one of those things that still, lays dormant. If we didn't
TBS, it's a network. Yeah, it's back.
The
can't get rid of it.
So, but that's one of those ones it's like a polio or a.
Yeah, I think so. That because we have the medicines now, we can treat it and it's all good. But
are those ever in risk of coming back in a different kind of polio? But it's now kick you in the dick polio.
I think that they do have concern of it morphing or changing into something else. Like I think I'd heard that about maybe Black Death. The plague, that, okay, if it just mutated a bit and came back, that, I think our medicine now that hopefully we can catch up with. I mean, you remember with what we had with, COVID, how quickly they were able to try to put something together that seemed to be somewhat effective against it.
The one that scared the shit out of me was that bird flu. When they were talking about, the birds are coming and they are going to fuck your world up, they were almost basically saying, y'all buckle up because the birds are coming. And then it just went away.
I remember that. There was sheer panic for like a week.
Yes.
And then poof.
I mean, we're talking panic to where people are going on, no, guys, the birds are coming. I remember
it had a song.
Yeah, I remember the media really getting behind that. So you wonder, dang, were they just fucking doing what the media does, getting people all hot and bothered in the bad way?
I know. Oprah was like, bird flu. It's real.
Don't you remember that, Kevin, being pretty serious for about a week and a half? People thought it was over.
We've always had that, and now that we've had an actual pandemic, can you imagine what's going to happen the next time? They're like, oh my gosh, mad cow, bird flu, whatever it might be, swine flu. People,
So you think if we have another something like, let's take COVID out, there's a new kind of flu like that.
Yeah.
Do you think people would take it as serious, or because of COVID, it would probably be polarizing and more fighting?
I don't know how it'll come off, and keep in mind, I mean, COVID was different than I think some of the other ones. There were some with COVID, because COVID got to the point where did they really die of COVID, yes or no? And so you didn't know. COVID was definitely a real thing, and it was a bitch and took a lot of people out, no doubt. But I think when you had the tuberculosis and some of those other ones, if you had the bubonic plague, the Black Death, or anything like that, you kind of knew because you would have the sores. There was no doubt about it.
The plague won't get political.
Well, like with COVID, for me, remember, I go and I'm diagnosed with, you got bronchitis. I'm like, okay. And then I take a COVID test. Oh, no, you got COVID. I'm like, so that was the thing where it could have been one of two things. And I still to this day probably had a little bit of both. I don't even know for sure. But if you had the Black Death, you knew, ring around the posies. That was, you had a ring sore that was on your face or all over your body. You had welts and pain, and there was no doubt. You weren't thinking, man, I don't know, maybe I have an upset tummy, or maybe I got a bad turkey salad sub. No.
Dang,
it was legit.
It was legit.
There
was no doubt. So it was a slam dunk when you had one of those.
Ring around the rosy when you're single is not, it ain't cool. When you got face welts.
No, it's hard to get a date.
It's hard if you're already, wifed up.
Mm-hmm. Somebody said we had one of the last tuberculosis hospitals in America in Lantana until it closed a short while ago. I had to have training for my job there, and was warned before it started that if it goes into lockdown, we had to stay put. It was super creepy.
Wow.
Lockdown for what?
Don't know.
Zombies?
Crazy. Shelley and Sunrise, can you say the name of that show again? Yes, it was Beyond the Unknown. I have the little Xfinity, so I just said Beyond the Unknown. It would pop it up, but it was on, I think, Travel Channel or something like that.
Okay.
Was the thing.
I couldn't agree with you more. I've seen it before, and I love the fact that they're shorter segments and they're just kind of cut pretty quick.
Yeah, super quick story. So if you're not really feeling one, you can fast forward to 10 minutes and you get another story. And like I said, it's not all just weird stuff. It was anything from just, you had aliens, you had your Bigfoot, you had that kind of stuff in there. But, there was other stuff of just odd fascination, like the violin story in the Titanic.
Historical shit.
Yes.
Oh, Kevin gets down with that history.
I love history too, man.
I'd never heard that story. I mean, what an amazing story of the violin.
Anytime you can, that's what I love. We do a thing on Weird Whatever called Denny's Random Facts, and he'll find some stories throughout history that you didn't even know existed. And there's so many of those kind of stories out there, kind of like a lot of the cryptozoology kind of creatures. There's a lot of sightings and stories, whether it be folklore or legit sightings that back in the 50s that we don't even know people in the States have no idea that we're even out there. There's a lot of great stories out there.
Yeah, a lot of the stories that I saw on that I hadn't heard before, or if I had heard them, it solidified it more in my brain. I'm like, oh, okay. You know, like they had the Lizzie Borden in there, and I was like, okay, I kind of forgot what happened in that story.
I never knew that there was on both sides during the Vietnam War. Both sides saw what they thought was a jungle / Bigfoot / alien kind of a creature,
Yikes.
where they thought it would eat soldiers on both sides. And there's reports of both camps going, yeah, we saw that. We witnessed that. And
okay.
They have some kind of a weird creature.
Dang.
Yeah.
I mean, are they both lying?
Right. Yeah. Well, football is starting to wrap up, so I need to start getting TV shows to watch. So load me up with all those. I want to check it out. I'm watching right now the 1923. That is the Yellowstone prequel. It's got Harrison Ford and Helen Mirren in it. Acting's really good.
If you want to start dressing like a cowboy, you let me know.
I know. Seriously, I'm looking at all that stuff. I'm like, man, I'm thinking I might join you. I need to go to the fair and pick up a new outfit.
It's just the beginning. Just the beginning.
Just the beginning? Okay.
There's so many cowboy booths.
There is. I was shocked of how expensive the cowboy hats were. This stuff was cheap. The cowboy hat was in the $280 to $350 range.
And I think the boots I think you can also, find deals. I remember when I was in Nashville on Broadway, they had buy one pair, get 3 free or something crazy like that. But I think I remember seeing some boots one time. They were custom made. They were about $1,000.
Dang.
So I think you can drop a ton of money on boots depending upon what happens. Yeah, I mean, dressing like a cowboy freaking ain't cheap, man.
Well, this is a costume cowboy hat.
That's made of felt.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
You can hear it. It's very hard.
Right.
And you can get fake leather boots. You can get pleather boots.
Yeah, I mean, Cowbird don't care being too authentic.
No, Cowbird's on a budget.
That's right.
Yeah.
What are we doing here?
$350 for a cowboy hat? Shit that.
Yeah. One show, and I know there's a lot coming up, Outer Banks.
Oh, that's right. Outer Banks comes back. You is also coming back to Netflix.
Yeah.
That's going to be huge.
Yep. Mandalorian Season 3 is out March 1st.
I'm curious to see how they're going to wrap that up because Boba Fett was part of that, and I didn't love Boba Fett's series. It was pretty shitty. The only good parts were the Mandalorian stuff.
And that's kind of hurt me because I don't really want to watch the Boba Fett, but I want to be lost in the storyline.
Why did you hate
I
it?
hated how it ended. I hated they made Boba Fett.
Oh, you got him.
Damn
He
it.
went right into it, too. You see how quickly he went into it?
All right, little lady, don't fuck with Cowbird.
He couldn't wait.
I still want to tell you about
wait.
it. We're gonna walk to the parking lot together, and I'm still fucking telling you about the Mandalorian.
I'm going to have to just take it.
Yeah, after doing that to him.
I got some stuff I got to get out.
There you go. All right. Well, you can always send us those emails and suggestions. Mail at kvjshow.com. Y'all have a great Tuesday. We'll see you back here tomorrow. Goodbye.
Cleveland Clinic, Florida provides individualized treatment plans for excellent outcomes of health problems ranging from the most common to the most complex, even in cases considered untreatable by others. Cleveland Clinic, Florida. Every life deserves world-class care.